Hello and welcome into this space where I consider it my responsibility to nurture, feed, and grow your curiosity. And I really hope that the satisfaction that comes with that um, gives you the conviction that you should take the next step, subscribe so that you're not left out in this journey of growth. So today I want to speak about something that I consider to be super sensitive, and it's gonna involve sad stories as we carry on. And it's quite unfortunate how most people tend to overlook it without realizing the tragedy that this thing, when overlooked, could cause, and the things it could snatch from us, and the spaces it could leave empty. And we might not even be in a position, even in the future, to find something of equal value to fill the voids. So I believe this topic is super important that you hang around because it's crucial. So the topic is about disagreement, and I'm going to be speaking about how people ought to handle themselves when they are faced with situations where they have to deal with disagreement, right? How someone is supposed to respond and how someone is supposed to carry themselves. It's not long ago since since something really sad happened, and it was quite tragic to even think about it and to watch it, where at that time a man who was barely 31 years old was shot right into the neck, and this was as a result of having different beliefs, different thoughts, different opinions on particular things. And so it was in the middle of a live debate when this man was shot, and he was shot in front of his audience and his family. It's quite sad to even think about it. And I want to believe that these people don't realize what they've done, the space they've left empty. And like I said, we might not be in a position even in the future to find something of equal value that fills these spaces, and something that we've been robbed of, right? Because like I said, this was someone's father, this was someone's best friend, someone's life partner. Now they've lost something that they might not ever be able to get back, right? When life is lost, and there's no way of getting it back. So I believe that this topic is gonna be super important to talk about it, because we don't want to experience or to even think that such a thing could repeat itself. And like I said, it was this man was shot in front of his family, his audience, in the middle of a live debate. That means that the whole world was tuned in and they had to witness this man being shot. It's I think it's quite an extreme reaction as a response of disagreement, right? And it shows just the inability of this person to even be able to stand themselves, right? To the point where they can take someone's life because of such a petty thing. So I want to talk about two things that I think could contribute greatly to how people react or respond in situations where they are faced with disagreement. And I'm going to lean in on the side that happens to feel like they are losing on on a certain debate or argument or conversation. And these two things, one is the collapse of emotional intelligence, and the other one is the pride fear cycle. So I'm going to be talking about these two things, and we are going to be able to see how they cause people to behave or respond in unwise ways without even thinking of the consequences of their reactions. So, the collapse of emotional intelligence. I personally believe that the differences is not the problem, right? The differences is not the problem. The problem comes in when emotional intelligence is absent. Because in this situation, people tend to say or feel like they're being attacked with the words that are coming from their opposing side. And the words appear as weapons. And as we see in Charlie Kirk's case, people tend to respond with the real weapons, and someone might lose their life, like it's evident with Charlie Kirk. And the other one is the pride fear cycle. So in this situation, um, people, when they are not in a position to regulate their emotions, to respect differences, and to control their pride, they tend to hate the fact that they could ever appear as losers in the middle of a debate. So they tend to lash out right? Fear fails or refuses to step aside, and the pride, the pride fuels defensiveness, and together they create aggression. So I believe that these two things, if people were able to sit down and just calm themselves down, like respect differences and control your emotions and let your pride sit aside for a while, and just consider having sensible, like adult like conversation without rushing to be aggressive in any manner, I think we would be in a better position to prevent such occurrence as Charlie Kirk's from ever reoccurring again. Because if you look clearly, Charlie Kirk was a man who had this huge impact on the world, and he had dedicated his life to change the world, and he was standing for the truth. And I just don't think that whatever level of disagreement you're in a person, you have the right to take their life. No, that should never happen, because that is such an extreme and wise reaction to even think about, right? So I think it's super important that someone is to think twice before reacting in any situation. Think of the consequences. Think of the impact of your behavior. Think of its vibe. Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it gonna hurt someone? Is it gonna, what is it gonna bring to you? Is it gonna bring you glories? Are you gonna now achieve what you want to achieve? Because if Charlie Kirk was killed so that people could silence him, then they are to be surprised, because Charlie Kirk's wife just announced that she's not gonna be back, she's not gonna be backed down, she's not gonna rest, and she's gonna make sure that she drives her husband's legacy forward and carries his dream forward. So I believe that nothing was achieved. Like the killer didn't achieve anything. The only thing they did was just leave a space that so many people like his wife are willing to make sure that its appearance is reduced as much as possible, and the dream and the vision and the legacy is driven forward. So I think that killer did not achieve much. You only robbed the world something so important, but that should not mean that there won't be somebody else who is willing to take the whole mission forward. So I think lost to them, now they're sentenced, and it's quite sad. I think they've got everything to lose. So it was amazing to have you around. See you in my next video. Bye.